Hello and welcome back to my stamp studio. So I'm here today with another Holiday Class to Go card kit. I'm using the Cherish the Season bundle from page 33 of the Stampin' Up! Holiday Mini Catalog. So I'm loving this cute little Jingle Bell bundle for both elegant and casual holiday card making. And you might have missed this. It's actually a smaller set. It's up kind of in a right-hand corner of page 33. And I kind of overlooked it the first couple times I went through it, but I love these little Jingle Bell images and dies. So I have been creating quite a few cards. If you watch my Facebook page, Dawn's Ink It Up, in the next few days, I will be posting some of those additional cards I made with this bundle. And it just kind of shows the great looks you can achieve with these cute little jingle bells. And just so holiday-ish too. So first, let's talk about the stamp set here. It is a clear cling mounted stamp set of 7 stamps. In addition to these various sizes of jingle bells here, you also get a little evergreen sprig stamp. And then it comes with 3 different sentiments. May you cherish the wonder of the season now and throughout the year. A beautiful font Merry Christmas stamp. And then a great little to from, which I've been using a lot on gift tags. Okay, so you can always have an extra little to from stamp in your stamp stash to use. Then in addition, this bundles with the Jingle Bell dies. And there are a couple dies that coordinate with some of the stamps. That's these 2 over here, the small and the medium Jingle Bell here. But then you also get these 4 gorgeous Jingle Bell dies here. And all of them have been punching out beautifully. I love these 2 little evergreen sprigs you get here. They work really well with the evergreen sprig stamp from the stamp set. And then to the best of my guess here, I believe these are little strips here that punch out. There's 4 different lengths that you can use as kind of like a ribbon or a hanging on your card for your jingle bells. Okay, so I think that's really kind of a cute little thing in there. So the Cherish the Season bundle sells for $35 out of the Stampin' Catalog. And I have created a Class to Go card kit to go with it. So with the purchase, you would receive supplies to create 2 of each of these cards here. Okay, so that's the supplies needed to create a total of 4 cards, 2 of each, like I said. You would receive all the pre-cut, scored cardstock, papers, embellishments, ribbons, envelopes, whatever you need to complete the kit cards. Now, because everyone has a little bit different stamp stashes, you may not have some of the products I'm using in these kits. So I offer many additional products in what I call an add-on list. You can receive 10% discount on these add-on items with the purchase of the bundle. And I will do my best to mention these add-on items in my video today, but they will also be listed with this post. It's important to point out here, though, the 10% discount will only be available when you send me your order. I must place the order for you. It's the only way I can give you that discount. I do need to charge a $4 postage fee, which covers my mailing of the card kit to you. Your Stampin' Up! Products will be shipped directly to you from Stampin' Up! Once you have all your stamping supplies, you're ready to simply sit and stamp with this video as your guide. The kit does all the creativity for you, and you get to stamp in the comfort and safety of your home. So contact me via email or message me on Facebook when you're ready to order. My email will be provided with this post. You will find all these details and the ordering dates below in the post, as I mentioned. So please let me know if you have any questions, though, along the way. So let's get to stamping. So I think I'm going to start here with this Old Olive card. Your kit would arrive with supplies that look like this, in addition to a very vanilla envelope. Okay? So you have a old olive card base that measures 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored down the middle at 4.25. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just give myself a nice little crisp fold using my bone folder here. Your kit will also have a piece of Very Vanilla that measures 4 by, actually this one, sorry, measures 3.75 by 5. I gave you just a little bit more old olive around the edge there. I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal. Lately my Stampin' Seal has been just a little stubborn, so I found that if I take my finger and work it like that on the tip, I can kind of get it started again, and then it comes out beautifully. So if you purchase some of the Stampin' Seal and you have the same issue, you're not alone, and that's a great way to be able to fix it there. Okay, so you will also have another Very Vanilla strip. I believe this is 2 inches across by 5.5. And let's work with that piece next. I'm going to go ahead and grab a blotter to put underneath to protect my work surface. And then I'm going to grab the cute little evergreen stamp that is in this set. I'm using my old olive ink, which would be an additional add-on item for this class. And I'm just going to take and ink it and just randomly come over here and stamp a bunch of these on there. I'm going to flip it. So I flip my paper, not my stamp, just so that I can get some different directions here. And I'm basically creating my own DSP, right? My own designer series paper. Now, I don't really like any of that cream showing. I love that little detail evergreen look like that. So I'm going to go ahead and try and cover up as much of, especially the perimeter, the Very Vanilla as I can, okay? The old olive ink pad and refill would be an additional add-on item to this class. So if you don't have the old olive ink pad, or if you need another refiller or need a refill for it, it would be a great way to add it onto this class for 10% off. Okay, so I'm going to bring my card base back in here. I'm going to take some of my multi-purpose glue and just add just a little bit up here around the edge because I don't want it to oop out. And I'm just gently putting on a little bit there. Remember that Very Vanilla is a little bit thinner cardstock, so you kind of need to be careful not to get too much glue, otherwise you'll see little bumps behind it on your project, okay? So that matches up perfectly side to side there, okay? So that gives you a nice little way to make sure that that's on there evenly. If you happen to have just a little bit of Very Vanilla sticking off the edge here, you can take your paper snips and we can snip that extra off, okay? So it makes a nice little flush edge there, okay? All right. Now, you will also have 2 of the copper brushed metallic cardstock strips. I have been in love with this paper. It's from the Holiday Mini, and it comes in silver, gold, and this beautiful copper. And you don't need much of it. You get 2 sheets of each in the packet. And look at this. It's just a tiny little 1/4 inch strip of this, and it's going to add so much to our card here. So you'll have 2 strips, one for the top, one for the bottom, and all I'm doing is just centering those here, just to give that finished look a little bit to our strip of evergreen. Okay. Remember, you have a little bit of time. One of the reasons I really love this multi-purpose glue is because you have a little bit of time to screech and move things if you need to, okay? All right, let's continue building our card. So you will also have a Very Vanilla strip, which is going to be our stamping piece. And what you're going to stamp on that is some of the jingle bells from the set. So there is a cluster of jingle bells, a larger one and a smaller one, and then there's these individual ones another medium-sized one, and another smaller one there, okay? So I'm going to take my Versamark ink pad. Before I do that, I'm going to take my embossing buddy and rub it across my paper. Remember that Stampin' Up! No longer carries the embossing buddy, which I think is a big mistake that they didn't have it in the catalog. I'm just saying. I still use it. I have quite a few in my stash, so if someone wanted one, I bought a bunch of heads so that I could be able to provide them still to my customers. I do think they are essential when you are embossing. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and just ink up that set of jingle bells, and then just do the 2 single ones, and then these 2 little single ones here. You should have plenty of room on your scrap here to be able to stamp those. Then I'm going to pull in my gold embossing powder, pour over the top of that. So I was maybe a little daring, some of you might think, to do all 3 at the same time like that, but if you work pretty quickly, you should have plenty of time. That ink should not dry before you can get your embossing powder on there, okay? Now, I would take my heat gun and heat those all up, and you will end up with these. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to heat that, but I went ahead and I did these all gold embossed, and these are all now punched out with the dies, okay? Now, with the exception, remember that the dies had this die and this die, okay? So that obviously goes with this one and these 2. This one you have to fussy cut. Now, I know that scares some people when you hear that, but actually they cut out very nicely. It's a nice little curved round image, so it cuts out very, very nicely. So this one has to be hand cut. And then in addition to those, for your card, you're going to need some of the little green sprigs. And I've given you a scrap piece of mossy meadow in your kit. And you'll run that through. You have to run it through once and then twice. And so you already do that twice there, but then you do have to run these through individually another 4 times to be able to get your mossy meadow. And then you'll also have a strip of the brushed copper metallic paper to be able to get 3 sets of the little evergreen pieces out of it. Okay? I'm just going to go ahead and let that set for a little bit. If you need a freeze frame to look at that, to know what you need to do to make your card. There is also a little sentiment strip in your kit, and that is where I stamped and then gold heat embossed the Merry Christmas that's from this set. Okay? Now, on this particular sample, I did not put the sentiment that comes in this stamp set in the inside. You certainly are welcome to, okay? It's a beautiful little sentiment that comes with this too. Okay, so now that we have all of our pieces, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take these framelets away and put them back in the case so that nothing happens to them. You know how sometimes those little dies can get misplaced very, very easily. We're going to bring our card base back in here, and we're going to continue to build our card. All right, so first I'm going to take this double jingle bell cut out, and I'm going to place 2 dimensionals on the back side of it. And this one's going to get placed kind of right in the center of your card and just kind of at a little bit of an angle, okay? I actually had it come down even just a little bit over your copper metallic strip here, okay? Just to have it a little bit of an angle. Then I'm going to continue to work and put the next one kind of at, again, a different angle than the last one. Our regular size dimensionals do work on the back side of the smaller jingle bell. And put that one there at another little angle. I just think these look so cute across here. Again, kind of tilt them at different angles. You can overlap them or place it under. And then this last one's going to fill up the rest of this corner up here. And it's going to be at even a different angle and a little bit different placement on there. Okay? Now, next you're going to need your glue dots. And I'm going to go ahead and just take some of my paper off there so I expose quite a few glue dots here because I'm going to be using them. The first, and it really doesn't matter which ones you place down first or which ones you do second. I kind of get lined up with the Mossy Meadow ones, and then I'll have some of the bronze copper ones as well, okay? And I'm just going to start working here, placing those. Whoops. I don't want them on the jingle bell. I don't know what I was just thinking right there. I want them at the top. I want them to come off of my copper piece up here, okay? But at the same time as I place them, I kind of want that evergreen to come down and cover that top attachment of the jingle bell, that top ring there, okay? Because I want it to make it look like it is actually hanging from there, okay? I'm going to continue to build each kind of little swag, I guess you want to call it, up above or bow that they're hanging from. And then I can layer my copper ones. Again, I'm going to bring this copper one down so it actually covers the top of ring of that jingle bell, okay? Now, we made 3 sets of each of these, remember? So you can be generous and be able to put one of each of these little cutouts on your project, okay? Now that one's a little bit longer, so I'm going to make that one come and reach down. I'm going to put a little copper one then over that. And then my longer copper one I'm going to have come down this way so that it actually comes down and covers the top of that jingle bell. And then this one I might put the green one here on top. Okay. Kind of mix and match them just a little bit there. All right, I'm going to expose 4 more glue dots and go ahead and attach these. Glue dots will definitely be your friend on this project. One more here. That one actually looks a little long there. You know what I might do? I might just tuck that one a little behind. So I really don't need that long to come down and cover the top of that jingle bell. This little shorter green one will do that. So it's kind of nice I tucked it back behind there. Okay? So there you kind of get that idea of that these are kind of hanging from different boughs. Okay? Then I thought that looked awfully plain. I did go ahead and I have you stamp a Merry Christmas sentiment, which added a lot to the front, but I thought it still just needed something else. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attach this just simply down here in the right-hand corner, but I decided to pull in Stampin' Up's Red Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And these come in a pack of 220 red rhinestones. I think these are just beautiful, and not just for the holidays. I think these would be great for Valentine's coming up. So birthday cards, even with the red, I think is just a universal color that would work for lots of cards. So this would be an additional 10% add-on item to this class if you wanted to pick up some extra red rhinestones. But of course, in the class, you would receive enough to complete this card, and I'm putting 3 at the top of each of these. And so I'm going to take my pick a tool here and grab on, and I just thought this looked really nice to add just a little more sparkle. It is the holidays after all. And it really made these look realistic too, I thought, just to add 3 here with each little cluster of evergreens. So you can really do something little like this that adds so much to that finishing touch of your card. Let's stick this one here. Okay. Oops. There we go. Press those down really firmly so that they hold. They are actually pretty sticky. And there you go. Okay. I don't know if the camera's picking those up or not. So pretty on there. That red with that beautiful bronzy. And I just love the greens and the gold in this card too. So very holiday-ish. So there's the first card to this Class to Go card kit. Now let's work on the second card. And let me just show it to you again. I kind of went classic with real red and white and some silver. Who doesn't like silver jingle bells, right? All right, so your class supplies would arrive, your kit like this, in addition again to a Whisper white envelope for this. Your card base measures just like the other card, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself again a nice crisp fold. In addition, your kit will have 2 Whisper white pieces that measure 3 3/4 by 5. One is for the inside. And again, I'm not quite sure why I didn't stamp this sentiment with this stamp set on the inside, but it's a beautiful sentiment that easily could be stamped right here in the inside, so it's not plain. Okay. The next layer is going to be that other Whisper white piece that's in your kit, and I have run that through one of our embossing folders, the Old World 3D embossing folder. And I've been pulling this out a lot for holiday cards. I love it, just gives you kind of this little crinkled appearance or look on it, and I just love that. Very plain, simple, but if you're just wanting a little bit of texture behind your project here, it works nicely with it. So that's in the main catalog, and again, that would be an additional add-on item to this class. I'm going to take that and add 4 dimensionals here, and we're going to place this on our card base, and this just gets centered just like that. Nothing better than just real red and Whisper white, crisp colors for holiday cards, right? All right, in addition, in your kit, you will have a larger piece of the silver metallic cardstock. You'll have a smaller piece of the silver metallic cardstock. Sorry if that's glaring. And then you'll have a square piece of Whisper white. And then you'll have just a little scrap piece of the garden green cardstock. Okay? Now, let me show you what you're going to do with all those pieces here. Okay? And I hope the glare is not going to be too much for you guys. So, with your silver pieces, this one and this one, you are going to use the larger Jingle Bell die is going to get placed on your smaller piece of silver metallic cardstock, and your smaller Jingle Bell size is going to get placed in the middle of your larger silver metallic piece, okay? Now, I know that seems really weird, but we're doing this to conserve and save just a little bit of paper, okay? Now, you will go ahead and run those through. You also have your little garden green here that you're going to use those 2 little garden, or those little green sprigs here for those. So you can run that, and that through, and then your Whisper white piece is going to get run through with one of the square stitched dies. Now, if you follow me and watch my holiday videos, I have been using these like crazy. This stitched look is really in right now. And with this bundle, you basically get circles, ovals, and squares. You can't go wrong. And so this has been an add-on item, I think, on almost all my holiday card classes. So if you don't have it, this would be an add-on item for this class as well. And I don't think you would regret its purchase. I have used this so much, okay? So if I started to count my squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to count out to 3 and 4. Those are the square sizes that I'm going to grab here, okay? And the smaller, size 3, is the one that you are going to run through on that square piece of Whisper White, okay? Now, after you run these through, this is what you will have. You will have this and this from the square. You will have this and this. There you have this, I'm sorry, from your smaller jingle bell. We punched out the center, okay? And that's going to give you these 2 jingle bells here. You will also have the larger jingle bell, and then you'll have your little evergreens, okay? That's your first run through. Now, the silver one gets run through again with the larger square stitched die, okay? And once you run that through that, you will end up with these 2 pieces here, okay? So, obviously, these are not going to get used in this project, but look at these. These are stunning. These are so fun. You could totally make another card with these leftover frame pieces, okay? So as you go to put them through, make sure that you are centering it around the edge there, and you will end up with this cute little silver frame and a little white frame that you totally could make 2 cards or put them together and make a card. I think they could be cute like this on point with something in them. I just think these are great. So save these little scraps, okay, and do something with them, please. But anyway, these are the pieces that you should end up with after you've run all your dies through, okay? So I'm going to let those lay there for just a minute. If you want to freeze frame to look, those are the pieces that you're going to need for this card, okay? Okay, so now let's build our card. So this was a nice way to be able to conserve some of our silver paper, wasn't it? This is actually going to get hidden back behind our white piece and no one will ever know. But we were able to get this jingle bell out of that. Okay, so always be thinking a little bit like that, how you can stretch and make your cardstock and your supplies go farther. Okay, so here I have this. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to put a little bit of, I'm trying to decide if I did dimensionals or I did glue. I guess I did do multi-purpose glue. I'm just going to put a little bit of multi-purpose glue around the perimeter there. I'm not going to put any in the center because that's kind of where that jingle bell cutout is. And I just don't want to get glue all over my work surface here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and center that like that. Then I'm going to take some dimensionals. And this time I'm actually going to grab our mini dimensionals. I just think they work a little bit better on this project. You have plenty of room there at the top and bottom of the large jingle bell. And then this one is going to get placed kind of over here towards the left a little bit and kind of at a little bit of an angle. Okay. Then our smaller jingle bell, this one, I put the dimensionals side and side there of that. They just seem to work better on this die cut. And this one's going to get placed right over the ring of the larger one, but kind of off again at a little bit of an angle. Okay, just like that. All right, so let's continue to build. We're going to do kind of like we did with the first card. I'm going to grab my glue dots here, and I'm going to go ahead and expose 2 of them and attach my garden green little sprigs here. I'm going to place the larger one down first, and that one is just going to go over the top of the ring of that jingle bell and just pretty much straight over to the right. Okay, The little sprig I have coming off basically straight up and down, but maybe just a titch off to the right. Again, over the ring of the top of that jingle bell, I'm just trying to cover that up a little bit up there, okay? All right, now I thought this still needed something else, so I went ahead and I grabbed some of the gold thread that comes from the Forever Green combo pack of ribbon. I have been using this gold thread on holiday projects like crazy, and it also comes with this beautiful cream, almost like a cheesecloth or a burlappy, soft though, feeling ribbon. So this combo pack of ribbon would be an additional add-on item to this class, 10% off. So I've cut myself off a little piece of it here, and I'm going to go ahead and just tie myself a bow, and that always is fun to do on camera, isn't it? But I know there's some bow challenged people out there, so just work with it there. I did give myself some pretty good size loops here, okay? And then I'm going to take a glue dot and attach that. Now, you feel like the glue dot sometimes is a little large for attachments like this. So what I kind of do when I take and pick this up is I take my fingernail and I just kind of scrunch that glue dot, okay? And I'm scrunching it down to really kind of quite a bit smaller, almost half as small, okay? And that way it's a little more behind that knot and hidden a little bit more, okay? Now my tails are just a little long there, so I'm going to take some scissors here. And believe it, I can't find my snips. Where are my snips? I'm going to pull these in quick. And just pin off my tails. The other thing I really like about this gold cording is that you can take it between your thumb and finger and just kind of rough those little ends up a little bit, and it frays. And it just gives it the coolest look. Now, another tip to work with this cording I have found, if it frays where you don't want it to fray, you can just take and kind of, I know this sounds kind of gross, but it's obviously your card. Get your fingers a little wet here, and you can take and kind of work that down, and you can actually get control of those frays and be able to put it back together again. So I kind of like that for both those, for this ribbon, I mean. Then the other ribbon I'm going to throw in on this project is the Real Red Sheer ribbon. And this is in the holiday catalog. I use this on the Poinsettia Class to Go card kit. I love this ribbon. This would be an additional add-on item for this class as well. But you'll receive a piece that looks like about this size here in your kit. And I'm going to take and I'm going to put a glue dot here at one end, pick it up, and I'm just going to sandwich that glue dot in between there, okay, just like that. And then this is going to get put on as a decorative kind of a loop. It's going to make it look like it's holding the jingle bells, okay? So I'm going to bring my card base back in here, and I'm going to place this down in the right-hand corner. And I just want to do this before I actually attach this ribbon, just to make sure that I'm placing it the right height there, okay? I'm going to bring in good old-fashioned Scotch tape. And once I have that ribbon where I want it, I'm going to gently pick this up, flip it over, and go ahead and just use some Scotch tape to attach that on the back side. I'm going to go ahead and grab 4 dimensionals, just because I have found that the texture of this embossing folder, the Old World embossing folder, can sometimes make things just a little cockeyed. So I feel like adding 4 dimensionals really gives this piece some good support here to be able to keep it nice and flat and smooth appearing. So I'm going to go ahead and place that down gently way down to the right hand corner, leaving myself a little bit of white space there. And I'm just going to play around. I'm not pulling too hard, but I'm just going to play around with that little red piece of ribbon there just to make sure it's nice and flat. Now, if you have some problems with your ribbon and it's not laying down as well as you want it to, or it's not straight out like you want it to, I did find on another card that I took a glue dot with my paper piercer tool, and I came up here and I just placed it behind the loop, and that really helped hold it into place, okay? So there's a little trick for you just in case you need to do that. The next thing I'm going to do here is take my paper snips, and I have my Merry Christmas greeting that I stamped in the Real Red ink, and that Real Red ink would be an additional add-on item to this class and refill. And this sentiment's nice in that the Merry and the Christmas, there's enough space between them that you can snip them because that long strip did not work nicely there, okay? And so I went ahead, I just snipped that apart, and I attached the Merry just right over here, flush with the left side of that Whisper White piece. And the Christmas, I brought in just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of difference there. And then, even though it has all this silver metallic, I still thought that this needed a little more bling. And since I made the Real Red rhinestones an add-on item for the other card, I thought, oh, this would be actually a nice little accent as well on this card. And I could scatter them all about. You've seen me make cards like that where I take them and just scatter them. But I thought this actually helped these white pieces of Merry Christmas sentiments pop a little more by adding those up there 3 and 3. Okay? So here is the second card. So let me bring all my Class to Go card kit projects in here. I don't think I talked about this. I went ahead and I just gold embossed some of those jingle bells down towards the bottom of that card. And then for this one, I just did Real Red ink and stamped those jingle bells for that one, okay? So as I previously shared, with the pandemic, it would be irresponsible for me to hold in-person classes, but I still wanted to give all of you a chance to create handmade holiday cards this year. So I have been offering additional to-go packets of 6 cards for $12 of your chosen class card design, so that you would have plenty of cards to be able to send out, which is really the way to go with the holidays this year. So I just please consider staying home and being responsible citizens with the upcoming holidays. I know I'm a broken record, but it's hard, and I know it's hard. But the sacrifices we make now will allow us to be together in the future. So please. So in these to-go packets, you would receive the same supplies as my Class to Go kits. It would be all the pre-cut, scored cardstock papers, embellishments, ribbon, envelope, and 6 cards for an additional $12 with the purchase of the stamp set and die bundle, Cherish the Season, okay? I would provide free delivery for people who are local, but I would have to charge some additional postage for those people that are not local to the Iowa City area. So thank you for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed these cards. If you're interested in the Cherish the Season bundle and this free Class to Go card kit, please contact me. In the meanwhile, please stay healthy and smart out there. Please, please. Anyway, all right, all of you take care.